Elder was a mentor of Stephen Miller, who was the architect of Trump's cruelest immigration policies, including the separating of migrant families under their zero-tolerance policy. My next guest, Jean Guerrero, writes for the Los Angeles Times, quote, "If Larry Elder is elected, life will get harder for Black and Latino Californians." Jean Guerrero joins me now. She's an investigative journalist and the author of HATEMONGER, Stephen Miller, Donald Trump, and the White Nationalist Agenda. Jean, tell me what's on the line here.
There's so much at stake in this election for Latinos, for Black communities, for communities of color overall. All of the progress that California has made on immigrant rights, on racial justice issues, could be in jeopardy, is in jeopardy in this election because the leading candidate, Larry Elder, has pledged to, reverse sanctuary laws. He doesn't believe in in-state tuition for Dreamers. He doesn't believe in driver's licenses for undocumented immigrants. All of these programs that California has been a leader on as far as immigrant rights and protecting immigrants and making immigrant communities feel safe in California and thus improving public safety and our economic prosperity, all of them are things that he wants to attack. This is a man who is to the right of Donald Trump on immigration issues, which is no surprise given the fact that he mentored Stephen Miller. Larry Elder even defended the most controversial immigration policy to come out of this administration to me. He defended the family separation policy. And as I wrote in my column, this is a man who's made a career out of denying the fact of systemic racism by using false stats that paint Black people as more violent than white people. It's stats that I found based on my analysis of Larry Elder's writings come from a white supremacist named Jared Taylor, who shaped Larry Elder's views, who Larry Elder repeatedly quoted in his early books and writings. And he continues, as recently as 2016, he was featuring a white nationalist website on his site. And I feel like there's just not enough information out there about the incredible danger that this man poses to immigrant rights and racial justice issues.
So, Jean, I'm going to imagine that a lot of people in our audience have the same question that I have as I listen to you tick through the history of Larry Elder, which is, how is it possible that a state like California, when Californians are polled about this, are showing him to be if not the lead contender to go up against Gavin Newsom?
Well, I mean, one of the problems, I think, is the fact that there's so little information. The Democrats are not doing a good job of outreach to Latino communities who have the most at stake in this election. And I think there's a lot of complacency, in part because people think that there's no way such a right-wing person could become leader of California. But this is, by nature, an anti-democratic election. It does not matter if more people vote to keep Gavin Newsom in office. If just one additional person votes yes on the recall, and there are far fewer people who vote for Larry Elder could still become the next governor of California. And again, this is a man whose views have been shaped by an open white supremacist, a white supremacist who, as I said, is named Jared Taylor and believes in a white majority country, and who wrote a classic called The Color of Crime, which uses all kinds of false and distorted statistics about Black communities.
I do want to ask you, because the vice president is headed to California, what is it that you think Californians need to hear from her?
I mean, Californians need to hear that they need to show up. They need to, regardless of how they feel about Governor Newsom, there is a lot of valid discontent with, some of the things that he did during the pandemic, but he has done the best that he can. And we will have an opportunity to vote him out if we want to in the next real democratic election. What needs to happen now is that Latinos turn out, that Democrats turn out and vote no on this recall election, because the alternative would be disastrous, not only for California, but it would set a nightmarish precedent that would reverberate across the United States, and it would be especially devastating for Black and Latino people, across the country. Larry Elder says he plans to use the bully pulpit. He plans to use dehumanizing terms like illegal aliens. He doesn't believe in humanizing terms like undocumented. And the experts I speak to say this will lead to a rise in hate crimes, which we're already seeing a rise in hate crimes, and this would just be devastating for communities of color in a time where we really just can't have any more of this.
Here's Johnny.